We have some very, very, very exciting news for the crypto markets. July could be a massive month. And I know a lot of you are like, well, Wendy, it's just not happening. We're going to have a massive month. We're going to have a massive month. And our public servants are telling us. They are absolutely telling us. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the news. I'm very excited. I'm happy to chat with you guys. And I know this bull market is a lot different than the other bull markets, but we have to stay focused. We have to stay patient, and we just have to go with the flow. We have to go with the flow. So let's go ahead and get into it, because we have some big news and some indications from our public servants that Bitcoin is going to the moon. Well, again, as always, not financial advice, you guys, but let's go ahead and get into it, because there's all kinds of stuff happening. First, I want to, I want to show you this this clip right here. This comes from President Trump, and this is from today that he said this.
Become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces, and I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar. And it's a great thing for our country. So
Bitcoin takes a lot of pressure off the US dollar. People pay for things with it, etc. I'm going to agree with our current president. We are not spending our Bitcoin. If you're watching this channel, I actually bought more Bitcoin today. Not a lot, but I bought a little bit. A couple $100 here and there. Why not? If you're watching this, look at your trading and investing portfolios. Figure out what it is you need to do to get ahead. But I'm telling you right now, I am not selling any of my Bitcoin. No way. No possible way right now. It doesn't make sense. Considering we have this pro-crypto administration, we have Plut, who's in charge of housing, talking about utilizing Bitcoin and crypto to get a mortgage, using it as collateral for a mortgage. Why would I sell it? What is the reason to sell Bitcoin? Like, obviously, I want to take some profit on my altcoins, etc. But my Bitcoin long-term, I'm not selling it. Doesn't make sense long-term for me. Might make sense for you. But the fact that we have all of this discussion happening about Bitcoin is just insane. So let's go ahead and go through all the stories and why we're so bullish and what's going on. So we had David Sachs, and that's where we got the title from. This isn't just clickbait. He said, thank you to the Senate Banking Committee Chair Tim Scott, Digital Asset Subcommittee Chair Loomis, for announcing a clear timeline and plan for comprehensive crypto market structure regulation. Bill introduced before August recess, markup first week of September, done by end of September. President Trump supports clarity on market structure as well as genius on stablecoins. Let's get this done. David Sachs says July will be a big month, with a bill signing for genius and clarity going to the Senate. What does this mean? What does this mean? This simply means that the Genius Act is going, so the Genius Act passed the Senate. Now it's going to go to the House. The House approves it. Then it's going to go to President Trump. He's going to sign it in. And they are, Sachs, Loomis, and many others, they're working on the Clarity Act. Clarity Act just basically says, shout out to Scott. Scott is a brand new subscriber. And I have to give a shout out to all my channel members. And I apologize, you guys. I'm having a really, really, really rough week. I was in like hysterical tears right before. I don't know how I'm able to do this, but I guess mental illness is a good thing. Anyways. Shout out to Gorgeous Alexandra, Alpha Moves, Mr. D, Mr. John Germain, and we got a new subscriber, Scott. Anyways, let's get back to it. And again, you guys, you know that I like to talk about personal stuff. We talk about crypto. We talk about everything. We keep it fun. Because at the end of the day, crypto is cool. But if you don't have social skills and you don't pay and you don't enjoy your quality of life, it makes no sense. But anyways, we've got the Genius Act, which is the stablecoin bill that's going to get President Trump's going to sign if the House approves it. And then the Clarity Act basically indicates what's going on with crypto. There's securities, there's the commodities, who makes rules, who doesn't, sandbox, etc. So this is bullish. And the reason why this is so bullish is because I think it's really going to open up a lot of not only interest in the market, but it's also going to open up opportunity, a lot of opportunity. And again, the coins that I'm focusing the most on are coins that are going to get the spot ETFs, a lot of the top coins. Solana, XRP, Hedera, all different types of stuff, all different types of things. So those are the coins I'm paying attention to because I think that they will do well. I think that there's a lot of really great ideas in crypto in general. However, I'm focusing on the utility coins for that aspect. That's just me though. But you guys do what works for you. Now, let's get into the next piece over here. So we talked about Mr. David Sachs saying July is going to be a big month for crypto. I agree with him 100%. Now, key U.S. senator tells White House crypto market structure bill will be done by September 30th. So again, Q4 2025 is when things are going to kick off and get crazy. Now, with that being said, I know that we've talked about, and I was correct on the channel, I talked about, Q1, Q2 being volatile, and then we're going to start to make some moves Q3, Q4, and that's exactly what's happening. So Q4 is probably going to be when we get all the ETFs approved, et cetera, but don't take my word for it. We got to wait on the public servants, but we're getting there. We are getting there. And then when we get these market structure bills, this just helps continue to push things forward, in my personal opinion. Now, let me go get to my notes on this story so I can get it to you guys as fast as possible, because I know you guys got other stuff to do, okay? Now, this is over here. During the press event, Tim Scott said, for the market to function completely, Congress would need to move forward with legislation for market structure and stablecoins. He intends a timeline seeing market structure completed before the end of September. Timeline is later than Trump's August goal. And Scott urges the House to pass the Genius Act quickly. Loomis backs Scott's timeline for crypto market structure rules, and Bo Hines supports passing the Genius Act without changes. You guys know me that I am very much, I don't like to force things at all. I don't like to force things, especially when it comes to regulation, because sometimes when you force, especially in America, because when you're forcing something, and I learned this from Hester Peirce, I got to meet her. It was an amazing opportunity. But she said, don't rush legislation that's going to impact your privacy. And I take that not like having access to privacy is your livelihood. I think that it's a human right. But at the same time, I also think that rushing things is bad, because once you pass a law, it's so hard to repeal. It's so hard to modify. And we want to make sure retail gets what retail needs. Is that going to happen? I have no idea. And that's why if we do have another altcoin season, this could be your last chance. So do it and do it right. Next story. White House official says Bitcoin is digital gold, and the United States' best interest is to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. Now let's listen to this.
There are a lot of different actors that held on to some Bitcoin in some fashion or another. Now the process begins in terms of establishing the reserve, the actual infrastructure behind it, and getting all of that accomplished. There's nothing in the EO that mandates that report become public, but we could choose to make it public at some point. And we are certainly keen on the idea of accumulation. We've stated publicly that Bitcoin is digital gold. We believe it's in the best interest of the United States to garner as much as we can possibly get. I've said that at every conference that I've spoken at in the last 2 to 3 months. Now, obviously, this has to be done in budget neutral ways that don't cost the taxpayer a dime. The president was clear about that in the executive order. But I think we have some very creative minds, 2 of which are sitting up here with me. And I think we'll begin moving very quickly on that. There are a lot of different actors.
So a couple things here. First and foremost, I think a lot of these things should be public, 100%. I don't like that this isn't public, or that part of it isn't public. So I got to call that out. But at the same time, we're getting a Bitcoin strategic reserve. And that's going to be absolutely outstanding for Bitcoin long term. And again, the fact that I understand that a lot of the activity is down on Bitcoin, on chain, and that's okay, because people are buying it right now. They are buying it. They don't have any intention of selling it. And the fact that we can actually use crypto as collateral for mortgages, for loans, those types of things, that is another reason to continue to hold on to it, and which will make Bitcoin a lot more valuable, in my opinion, and some other crypto assets as well. And again, you guys, none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion, what I'm hearing. And we're seeing, and again, when you're talking about having a finite asset, with all the Bitcoin treasuries and strategy and all that stuff, when you have a finite asset and you're just holding on to it and you're buying it and there's more demand for it and people want it, so they're willing to pay whatever it is, number goes up. You can't print more of it. And to me, that's incredibly bullish. So we know that we're getting that. We're getting the Bitcoin strategic reserve. That's coming. We're moving a little bit slow. But let's go ahead and talk about the Senate press conference, because they confirmed progress on the U.S. Bitcoin reserve. And that's kind of what we just heard. But we got to get more of the details, okay? So we saw the clip, but this was also during the conference, this article. Hines confirmed that the government is preparing infrastructure for the Bitcoin reserve. We believe it is in the best interest of the U.S. to acquire as much as we can get. He says Bitcoin accounting is complete across federal institutions. That's good. And also, too, you have to remember we had Powell come out and say how important that banks can now work with crypto, and that stable coins are okay. The fact that he came out and said that is insane. But Bo Hines is 100% for Bitcoin and whatnot. And these guys want to make money, and I don't blame them. He also said that while Trump's executive mandate didn't mandate to the Treasury to publish a report on the current government-held Bitcoin, then Min may choose to release it publicly. And that's what I was talking about before. I don't like that. They should make it public. Now, this next part over here is Bohines confirmed the possibility infrastructure for the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, which is outstanding. We're getting it. It's coming. And then this is going to be the White House Deputy Director said that there's an accumulation plan for folks for the U.S. to buy more Bitcoin. But again, actually, I'm not even going to play it because we've kind of already talked about this before. I've got an issue. My issue is that why isn't everything transparent? Why isn't everything public? We want to know these things. So again, even though we do have a pro-crypto administration, they're not very transparent, and they're still playing by the old rules of public servants, what they can do legally. And I don't like that. I don't like that. But at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers, and it is what it is. It absolutely is what it is. Now let's get into the next portion of the show because there's more stuff. Let's actually, before we talk about this, I want to talk about the market. So remember Pengu, there's going to be an ETF, a spot ETF for that was applied for. They probably don't want everyone to re-rich. Well, regardless of the opportunities that are present, even if everybody had equal opportunity, there's still going to be people that won't make it. That's just the way it works. It's life. It's hard. Now, C is up, Pengu is up, Aave is up. Everything is doing well, and it's probably because all the bullish rhetoric about Bitcoin and about crypto, about the guidelines, and this is exactly why the market is responding. And then plus two, allegedly Trump said that he's came to a tariff agreement with China, all kinds of stuff. That's a whole nother topic. But again, that fuels the market. I'll cover that a little bit at the end of the show. Let's just do a quick market update over here. With our Bitcoin and our altcoins and all that stuff, okay? Because it's important. We want to know what's happening with the market. And again, big shout out to the XRP army. I got some media for you guys next week. So market really hasn't done too terribly much. We've just been holding on since yesterday, which is good. Generally, these types of candles, they could indicate a reversal. I mean, we've had two swing wick highs to about $108,000. We weren't able to close there. We closed at $107,000. It looks like we might head down a little bit, but this is generally neutral. So we got to see where we close it down. Bitcoin, either way, bullish long term. Ethereum is holding decently at $2,400, but this looks a little bit bearish to me, so I'm going to anticipate a drop. I hope I'm wrong. I don't like it. I wish it was more. Solana is also starting to pop a little bit, but haven't been able to break above resistance at 146. Sui popped really nicely at $2.80. And it actually looks like Ethereum is starting to follow Bitcoin again. It used to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin that would all follow each other. You could just long or short all that stuff. It worked. But anyways, XRP is struggling, not doing great, struggling to sustain above $2.22. And now we're probably going to head back down to $2.01. But hey, if we hold that line, baby, that's wonderful. Chainlink is also struggling well to maintain over $13, but we'll get there. We'll get there. And ADA is now holding on to support about 55 cents. It looks like we're going to continue to fall down a little bit. So the market's a little bit undecided, even though we've had some really nice gains here or there. It's been a little bit struggling. We've been struggling just a little bit, but that's life. That's life. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this next story. Is from Decrypt. We haven't used them in a while. But anyways, apparently 5 law firms filed identical class action lawsuits against Strategy, alleging securities frauds over misleading Bitcoin investment statements. So apparently there's a lot of firms that are suing MicroStrategy, which I think is ridiculous. Apparently, firms are reportedly competing to become lead counsel in the case. Lawsuits stem from $5.9 billion in unrealized quarter-one losses after Strategy bought $7.7 billion. Each suit accuses Strategy of misleading investors about anticipated profitability and risks in its Bitcoin purchases by making material false misleading statements. Strategy says it will vigorously defend. This is stupid. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I think it's so dumb when there's different lawsuits. This is a stupid lawsuit. And this is exactly why the SEC exists, in my personal opinion. And these protections exist. So you could go after folks with money just because they have money, and not take any accountability for your own actions. Like if you're somebody that was investing in Strategy and listening to somebody like Michael Saylor unless they actually have proof in the pudding in these papers and documents, I don't know what to tell you. But I think it's BS. I think we just need to stop suing people, and people just need to do better. But whatever. Now, I want to talk about this story. This happened earlier in the week, but we got to talk about it. So Barclays Bank bans $130 million of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. Barclays bank buys $130 million worth of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, but bans customers from using cards on cryptocurrency. So someone said that it's only for credit cards, all kinds of stuff. But at the end of the day, I want to chat about something. Okay. The fact that accredited investors, institutional investors, all these people are able to do what they want when they want to do it because they have money. That's not okay. And this all stems from the accredited investor law. Because you are poor and stupid, that's what they think of you. They don't want you to be able to do what you want to do with your money. And that's why Bitcoin and crypto is so important. However, we're segueing into this traditional financial BS that we're seeing, which I don't like. I don't like it any way, shape, or form. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And that's why I personally think that unless the accredited investor rules are they're fixed, then they're modified, we're going to have a problem. We will definitely have a problem. So that's my personal opinion on the matter. And I've just about had it. Oh, also too, my Rumble's not working. I got to deal with that later. But anyways, let's get into the next story. So Cointelegraph, and this is about Ethereum. And I actually, should I talk about this tomorrow? I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow because I got a hinkling on what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin or with Ethereum. Anyways, Bit Digital Inc. announces $150 million to buy, announces pricing a public offering of its ordinary shares. Actually, I don't have the notes for this. That's my fault. I'm a hot mess today. You know what? We do have an update about dogecoin and aptos. Apparently, those ETFs were delayed, which is okay. Also, the Solana treasury. A Solana focus Abexi to tokenize shares added 56,000 Solana holdings, sold to holdings. It's a NASDAQ listed firm and it taps superstates equity tokenization to make shares available on the blockchain. Projects that are RWAs. I know there's a lot of scammy ones out there, but these are things we want to pay attention to. Also, this is Bitwise is aimed to amend their spot Dogecoin ETF and their spot Aptos ETF. And then one of the huge updates to this one is in-kind creations and redemptions. So that's important to note too. And then I want to leave you with this one. The government is creating a grift ETF. A grift ETF, which I think is absolutely amazing and hilarious. And Mixing shared this with me yesterday. But basically, Tuttle is an investment firm, and they filed for a government grift ETF, and is based on the fact that politicians and insiders have an edge of investing. That is freaking crazy that they named it this too. ETF will seek total return based on this thesis by holding 10 to 30 stocks. And their stocks that Congress representatives own, and their companies with close ties to Trump. Analysts of president's speeches, social media posts, interviews, and holdings reviewed weekly. And Tuttle previously filed 2 times long ETF applications for Solana, XRP, Litecoin, ADA, Link, DOT, BNB, Bonk, Trump, and Melania. So I absolutely love it. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to get going. I'm not thinking clearly. I'm very tired and having a really rough week. But that's okay because I've got my little nephew here with me. He's so well behaved. So well behaved. He's watching Cars in the other room. I can hear him though. He's so good though. Anyways, you guys, sending you love and light. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Also, to everybody that loves Cardano, I've got a really great video answering all of your questions and all of your thoughts about midnight and the airdrop, because that's coming. So you want to make sure you claim that airdrop, and fingers crossed you might be able to make some money. Plus, it's a privacy focus thing, so that's good too. And then other than that, tomorrow I'll be live streaming, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate all the love and support, and I will be back. I'm going to take a little siesta. Well, swimming, of course. Bye-bye.